Hi everyone, I am here today to show you how we are going to add the front legs in rounds 19 through 21. So here you can see I have the start of the Sundaesaurus completed. I've got the head done, I've got the neck done and started, and now we are getting into the body here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding in the legs, and we're going to be crocheting them in so that we don't have to worry about sewing them in later. So I've got both my legs done here for front legs, and we're going to be adding those in. And the reason why this video or this round can be tricky is because depending on the yarn that you have chosen to make your Sundaesaurus in, as well as the hook size, that is going to change the position that you need to add those legs in for. So right now in here, just to show you guys what I am using, just in case this is also what you are using, you could maybe do exactly what I'm doing in this video. So I am using a size I or a 9, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook. And then the yarn that I am using is Bernat Blanket Speckle yarn. It is the typewriter color. I'm making a cookies and cream inspired Sundaesaurus here, okay? So I'm just gonna show you where I've gotten to so far. I did stuff the head, I got a little pink fuzz in there. So the head is completed, the head is stuffed, and right now I have the start of round 19 done all the way up until the increase 2, and you're gonna do that twice. So starting here, we did the increase 4, and then repeating that 5 times, and then you do increase 2 stitches twice, and that's gonna leave you with 4 stitches left over of this round. And that is where I'm going to recommend you pause before continuing in the pattern. So now this is where you want to check the placement of the legs. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it like this so you can see the eyes here. So the best way to describe this is you want the legs to be completely centered with your head. So I like to kind of look at it like this, where I can see the eyes, I can see the center of the snout here, and I want the center of that snout to be basically the middle stitch in between the legs. So because I used thicker yarn than what I initially used for making this pattern, to make this pattern I used Parfait Chunky, which is a lot smaller than this, and I used a 4.5 millimeter hook. So when I used that, I was able to do 2 more SC or single crochets, and then I was able to start adding in the leg here. But as I'm looking at this, that is not going to keep this centered, because if I'm looking at this head on and I kind of follow this down, center is about like right after my stitch marker here. So if I were to add in, I've got maybe like 2 stitches here to work with, and I added in the leg here, that first leg is gonna end roughly about right here. Okay, so that's gonna be adding a leg in almost in the middle of the neck or head area, which would not look good because then the other leg would be over here. So you have 13 stitches that you're gonna work with when you're adding in the legs. 6 to add in each leg, so 6 and 6 is 12, and you're gonna have 1 single crochet in the middle. So right now, if I count this out, I have 4 stitches left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to work that into the first leg, and then 5, 6. And then I would have 1 single crochet in between. I actually think that's going to work out perfectly, because now if I kind of follow that straight up the snout here, and then I kind of show you guys so you can see it, that is centered in between those eyes. If I kind of follow it back up here, that's pretty centered in between. So then I'm going to have 1, 2 where I continue to add the leg after the stitch marker, 1 in between, and then 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's an increase there, so it looks. So if I kind of go like this, I've got my 13 stitches, and I kind of push it down so you can see there. That is pretty darn centered with those eyes there, and that's what you're looking for. So in my initial pattern, I had a 2 single crochet and then starting. I'm going to start right away instead of doing that 2 single crochet and then adding in the leg. All right, so let's start here. Sorry, I've done enough talking. Hopefully that helps though. So when I add the leg, you obviously want the leg with the toes facing out. So in order to do that, we're going to put the toes towards the body. And then I'm going to pick this back up here. And what I do with the tail of the, I'm going to set this back down, with the tail from the leg, I just tuck it inside. You're going to be crocheting the leg in, so there's really no need to tie that off to anything. If you would like to, you could, once you have both legs added, you could tie them together and tuck it in the body if you would like, but it's not really necessary. All right, so I've got that tucked in and out of the way. I'm going to pick up the body here, and I've got the toes facing the head or facing the body. And now we're going to line this up, and we are only going to be crocheting through this side of the leg. You're not going to crochet through both sides and close this hole. You're going to leave this hole open because in the next couple rounds, you're going to go around the outside so it looks like we seamlessly added in this leg. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stick my crochet hook back in. I'm going to tighten this back up. And then we are going to start to add in our leg here. So I like to kind of make sure I've got this straight and centered. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I kind of squish it flat so I can see where the center of this leg is going to be. So I want 6 on the outside and I want 6 on the inside, and I want to make sure those toes are facing the body when I add this. So if I've got 1, 2, 3 on the outside here, this stitch right here is the one that I'm going to go into as my first stitch to add it in. So I'm going to stick my crochet hook into that. And now I have 4 single crochets that I'm going to work this leg into for the end of round 19. So I'm going to stick it into here. So right now I have my starting yarn from the previous stitch. I have it into the leg on one side and then into the body. We're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and finish that single crochet. So now I'm going to do that 4 more times to finish. Oh, sorry, I lost my yarn here. There we go. To finish round 19, make sure you are carefully going into each stitch of the leg and not skipping a stitch. 4, there we go. Okay, so now I have gone into 4 single crochet stitches of the leg so far to finish off 19. So now to start row 20, we are going to keep going with the leg, and we're going to put this stitch marker in exactly where it was previously. So I'm going to go into stitch 5 of the leg here, and then that is going to be our new start of where this goes, just for now. We are going to move it later though. Okay, and then the 6th and final stitch for this round for adding in the first leg. Okay, so now you can see this leg is added on one side. Kind of move this out of the way so you can see the hole is still open. And I should have, if I did this correctly, I should have 6 outer stitches around the leg. So I have 1, 2, 3. That's my yarn tail right there. And then 4, 5, 6. That is to make sure that we added 6 in of the leg. All right, let's keep going with round 20 here. So now we should have 1 single crochet in the middle. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab leg 2. I'm just going to tuck that yarn tail inside. And I'm going to kind of squish it flat, make sure the toes are facing forward, squish it flat. Find that starting single crochet that I'm going to go into, or starting stitch, I suppose, not a single crochet yet. Starting stitch that I want to go into. And then we're going to go ahead and stick my hook. Oops, sorry. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go right here into this one. And again, we're going to add that in with 6 stitches going through both the body and the leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Okay, now we have the legs added for the first part of round 20 and the end of 19 here. So a good way to check is when you hold your little dinosaur forward, do the legs look centered with the head and with the eyes, and I think they do. So I like the placement of that. So now I'm going to keep going. And when we get to the next round, I'm going to show you how to adjust for when we get to this round, because this is where some adjusting is going to take place because of where we added, and we need to move this stitch marker now to the outside of the legs. Okay, so now for the rest of round 20, I initially in the pattern had 29 single crochet, but because I added in the legs at a different place, this is going to be a different number, and that is okay. So what I want you to do though is do single crochet all the way until you get to the leg, and then that is where you're going to stop, and then I can guide you through the rest of it. Okay, so just do single crochet all the way around here, and I will meet you back over here.